Day one of mandatory minicamp here from the UPMC Rudy Sports Complex. Nick Farabaugh, Alan Saunders. Alan, lots to take away from today, but the number one thing, Arthur Smith and Tom Arth both reiterating, there's a quarterback competition. We've been telling y'all that there has been a quarterback competition between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Yes, is Russell Wilson in pole position? Yes, is he taking all the first team reps? Yes, he is, but both these guys said it's a competition. What did Tom Arth say? I hung out with Arthur Smith, basically said it's going to heat up in training camp, but what specifically did you get out of Tom Arth?
I think the cool thing talking to Tom was he's like, whether we want it to be a competition or not, it's going to be, because you can't put hyper-competitive people like Russ and Justin Fields into a scenario and not have them compete. Like he said, now the real question will be when we get to training camp, how you divide the reps, and that's going to be a Coach Tomlin decision, not, necessarily the quarterback's coach, but he said that they're going to go out there, and if Justin Fields makes a big play, you'll see Russ put his helmet back on and be like, oh, third team, no, we're going back out there next. Like we want another one. He's like, so you're not going to stop these guys from competing from one another. And he said they've been really great about, they both just got here. They're both on a one-year deal. They both have a lot to prove, but also learning together and working together and being teammates at the same time. He said it's been really fun to watch these two guys go at it.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch. I think that is the biggest story today, but I think you and I kind of, through the tea leaves, read into that. I think there's some other interesting stuff from today. We talked with all the position coaches, including Danny Smith and Arthur Smith, all of the offensive position coaches, that is. I caught up with Troy Fautanu as well. And so I spent most of my time during the position coaches with Pat Meyer. And we talked a lot about Troy Fautanu and how he is a malleable ball of clay just because he has so much experience across the offensive line throughout Washington's practice. He played right tackle in high school. All of these different things that he did that makes them think he could be a 5-position player, and he's taking well to it. He said, Troy Fautanu, I remember his first interview after his first day of OTA, said it was rough. He told me today, he said, there's too much going through my head. He feels a lot better right now. He says the footwork's very natural to him right now. He's trying to, work on his hand usage. He's working specifically with TJ Watt and Nick Herbig right now to try and get that going, but it seems like Troy Fautanu's coming along really, really fast, and Pat Meyer is very impressed by him. And I think sooner rather than later, Alan, we're going to start seeing Troy Fautanu slip into those first team reps. Now, also on top of that, Dan Moore Jr., I asked kind of why, what's different between him and Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu, and he basically said, Pat Meyer said Dan Moore was a guy that, came in as a left tackle and never really got the chance to experiment with the right tackle, left tackle stuff. They put him there a few times in camp, but, he never got enough time and reps to really get it down. So if you're wondering why he's sticking at left tackle and Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu are the ones moving around, that's basically why.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, and I think it gives them the options to set up the training camp battle in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
I'll be really curious to see how things play out when we get there. Anything else? I talked to Arth. I talked to Eddie Faulkner a little bit. He said, man, as a running backs coach, I love this offense because I love how much we're going to run the ball. So I think, that's not exactly a secret, but it's another thing to say it out loud, I guess, that they're not being shy about how much they plan to run the ball. They're going to need that offensive line to be gelled and ready to go. But I think that's a big, there's going to be a lot of attention on the quarterback battle, and I think, that's obviously going to be important, but the way the offensive line comes together and their ability to run the ball is probably going to be just as impactful on the success of the team this season.
Yeah, something interesting, talked to Zach Frazier this morning, too, just about how he's kind of catching up to everything. Similar things to Troy Fautanu. Things are getting slower and easier for him. It just happens. But I thought the interesting thing was I asked him specifically about pulling in space, and, if that was something. He said they have not installed any gap stuff yet, so it's all zone. If you know the Arthur Smith offense, this is not surprising. He's a inside zone, mid zone, outside zone guy. Will that come? It could. It's in the playbook. We saw it last year a little bit, but it's been all zone stuff yet. So they're just getting the bread and butter down. I don't even think we've scratched the surface of the actual Arthur Smith offense. They're just trying to get the bases down. I just thought that was interesting from Zach Frazier. Pat Frymuth said largely the same stuff. It's the bread and butter right now. They haven't really gotten into it, but the deeper stuff that he's diving into, he's really excited. This is going to be a multiple tight end offense. Arthur Smith said that's going to be a big thing. They're going to use multiple running backs, tight ends. They're going to mix it up. They want to be, a team that can condense you in at 13 or spread you out at 13. So it's going to be a mismatch kind of thing. I would compare it most to, say, Kevin Stefanski when you look at Cleveland's offense, which is they play a lot of 12 and 13, and they spread
and they
it out.
Run the ball.
and they run the ball and they spread you out and they condense you, run a lot of wide zone. That's their bread and butter. So I think it's going to be similar to that.
Well, I think so. One notable absence today, Najee Harris. Mike Tomlin said it was excused. Other than that, everybody that was here was supposed to be here was here, and I think that's pretty it.
Yeah, there's other stuff, but we'll dig more into it throughout the week. Folks, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell to check more out. Afternoon Drive will be coming very shortly after this video goes out. Make sure to read the stuff over at SteelersNow.com, and thanks for listening.